taken the rest of the world by storm, the 2-litre touring car season has finally arrived down under. The biggest ever field has assembled for the Australian 95 Super Tourist Championship, with a record number of factory teams competing in the first round here at Phillip Island. Newcomers such as Audi, Volvo, Hyundai and Ford will threaten a stranglehold of the reigning champions BMW. Seasoned drivers Charlie O'Brien, Jeff Brabham and Tony Scott join the championship for the first time. Of course, to win, they'll have to get past the likes of Kiwi ace Greg Murphy, young gun Steve Ellery and the fastest qualifier here at Phillip Island, Paul Morris. Morris smashed the lap record by 4 seconds yesterday, and he's aimed at Phillip Island to push himself hard.
And I try to drive the car on the limit every time I'm in it and treat every time I go out the pit lane as a qualifying session. So when you do have to do the job, you can do it.
5 times Oscar champion Brad Jones has teamed up with newcomers Audi to race the Oryx Audi Quattro. His qualifying time suggested he'll be close behind the BMWs.
Being a four-wheel drive, it doesn't quite have the horsepower some of the other cars have, but it makes up for it in braking and hopefully cornering. So second row, as good a result as I could have hoped for, and hopefully from here we're just to race the BMW.
Having made a name for itself in the British Touring Car Championship, the Volvo 850 Estate station wagon with driver Tony Scott at the wheel will debut here at Phillip Island. While the Volvo might look odd on the track, Tony says he has no problems mixing it with the saloons.
You know, because the old story, when you race, you never look in the rear vision mirror anyway. And the kids certainly don't make too much noise back there.
Great place to have a station wagon at Phillip Island. The surf's running too. Phillip Island has long, straight and fast sweeping corners. This makes it one of the fastest circuits in Australia and will definitely favour the rear-wheel drive BMWs today. 2 beautifully turned out cars there for Brabham and Morris, and look at the crowd that's come out to watch and play here at the Island. It's a great place to race. Blue skies, perfect conditions today.
So we've got the 2 factory BMWs on the front row, followed by the newcomers Audi to the series on the second row. The 4-wheel drive should be very quick off the line. The first privateer, Steve Ellery, in 5th.
Tony Scott, there he is there in the Volvo 850. Very interesting car. We've seen it on the telly. Now we see it in the flesh.
Phillip Island, 12 turns, up to 260 kilometres an hour down the chute, getting ready for the start.
Inching away now, Morris and Brabham, and good start from the Audis too, so they all get away nicely off the first 2 rows. Now the dash, down it comes into the first of the corners here at the Island. It's Morris and Brabham out front. Brabham now just takes a long way round. Nice bit of racing from Jeffrey Brabham, takes the lead from Paul Morris.
So as we go in, Morris, he won't want to stay behind Brabham. The Audi's very good under brakes, starting to close up.
The Volvo made a fair start. You're riding with Bradley Jones at the moment. That's Murphy in front of him, then the BMWs. Also Phil Ward in the big green and white Nokia Mercedes. He made a blind of a start. There he is there.
Car's up the 6th gear here, up towards maximum revs, and just watch him come into this corner down to 2nd gear.
Jeffrey Brabham leads Morris. Murphy doing a terrific job. That's Murphy from the rear end of Morris's car. The puff of smoke you see, I would think a lock-up.
BMW certainly get the jump out of the corners, but the Audis seem to close up a little bit through the corners and under brakes.
First time we've seen the Audis racing in Australia. They certainly look impressive. Talk to Warwick, Rooklyn as the race progresses as we go through. Now have a look at the big Merc. Phil Ward having a big go. Have a look at this. He's got the monster wound up, and there he goes.
Wardy certainly has a reputation for muscling it through at the start over Lukey Heights. Out of Brad Jones's car, looking at Phil Ward.
He's got past Jones. He's got past Jones. Plenty of huff and puff of the Merc today. Bradley Jones now gets it a little bit sideways, tries to nip up the inside. Ward, I don't think will have anything to do with that. There's Ward now. Says, come round if you can get me now. Jones, very aggressive. Look at the big Merc. Starts to slip and slide.
Wardy, he's got a new sequential gearbox in this car for this weekend, and that's certainly helping his progress, this car from the German Touring Car Championship.
Absolutely flying now. Brad Jones, it looks like he's got the legs down the straight. He takes the inside line. No, he doesn't. Phil Ward and the Merc are still there. Fantastic stuff.
You notice a light coming on in Jones's car when we go inboard is the rev limiter. 8,500 revs, the rev limit for these cars.
Stephen Ellery doing a terrific job too in the red and yellow car. That's last year's winner, of course, in the hands of Tony Longhurst. So the youngster there too, he's mixing it with the better ones. Looking back from Morris's car. Here we go. This is where the action is at the moment because Phil Waters really got a handful with a Merc and Brad Jones all over him at the moment, and Ellery joins in. And also Charlie O'Brien's there too. Is that Charlie O'Brien?
Yeah, Charlie O'Brien's in. He's running the BMW New Zealand team for the early part of the series. And Jones very good under brakes in the Quattro, gets past Ward, now fighting, looking at Ward's car.
Have a look at the way Ward works the car. Not quite as dramatic as last year. He certainly got it sorted out. Remember, this car was run in the German Touring Car Series, but with a lot different specifications than it's running here in Australia. But by gee, from the opening round, he's going to give him some hurry up.
Ellery going very well in last year's winning championship car.
Over the top they go. We'll come back, Australia. Stay with us. The 2-litre action's fantastic. Nice to have your company wherever you're watching us right around Australia. What a good race this is from the 2-litre cars. The Super Tourers for 95, that's one of them. The Audis, don't they look good? And that's another one. The BMWs, it's been really a dice there with the Mercedes Award doing a great job. And look at Ellery. Oh, look at Ellery's putting him around. Ward goes around, there's nothing he can do. And just gets missed there. The Volvo flashes past. Ward's trying to get a gear. He's stirring the box up like a spoon in porridge, I'll tell you. Oh, what a big lose that was. Ellery just gave him a tap. Here he is back on track.
He's trying to find a gear now. Trying to get back on the circuit, get the whole thing going again. He didn't need that. Now trying to work his way through the sequential gearbox.
Oh boy, doesn't he have some bad luck because he just mixes it. Ellery, no beg your pardons, the kid. He just gave him a punt. Well, don't know what I've laughed about. It looked like it could have got a bit of damage. Certainly having trouble finding a gear. Here we go, have a listen.
Sounds like selection problems for Phil Ward with the new sequential gearbox.
I think a pit stop will have to happen there. Now let's come back to the lead action. Morris all over the back of Brabham. Morris with a red webbing on his window. A little bit difficult to pick out these cars. You'll find the rear view mirrors are the way to do it. One's white and one's black. Here comes Ward into the pits. Bad luck. Oh, he was getting amongst it. But Ellery, he felt he was getting held up and he just punted him.
It's interesting looking at Brabham. Jeff was saying to me that he's not feeling all that comfortable with these 2-litre cars, that they roll around the road a lot, unlike the open wheelers who've been driving in the States, but certainly no problems here.
Oh, look at this. You're talking about action. Murphy comes up the inside. He huffs and puffs and muscles his way through. Beautiful driving from the Kiwi. He showed us his class last year, and I'll tell you what, he's going to carry it on this year. You've got to beat this fella. You've got to race him.
Looking out at Jones's car, trying to get up with the leading pack. Charlie O'Brien, Team New Zealand Motorsport car, leading Ellery and the Volvo of Tony Scott.
Volvo of Scott, doesn't look fantastic. We've seen it, of course, in the British Touring Car Championships, but really good to see it in Australia. Look at Murphy. He's just diving around under brakes in behind Brabham. Plenty of hurry up now. Morris comes in and tries to protect his teammate, but Murphy, this kid's a goer, let me tell you. He's got plenty of aggression.
These Audis have really just shook the BMW team around this weekend. They didn't expect them to be on the pace so quickly.
Very impressive. So is the Volvo. That's Tony Scott. Looks nice and relaxed. You remember him in a production Commodore, very quick. He looks pretty relaxed.
The engineering in the Volvo is just absolutely superb.
Still Brabham. Oh, and look at Morris. Morris just said, thanks very much. I'll have second back.
Now he's having to go under brakes.
From the rear view of Morris's car, Murphy.
Now the BMW's starting to stretch away as they put the power down.
Gee whiz, I tell you what, these Audis will be tough on a tight track.
Yeah, certainly the way they stop and corner, I think the BMWs are going to have a real problem with them.
Into traffic now. Murphy gets a slingshot effect as he comes in. Oh, what about that for lock-up? What about that? He smokes him up like a dragster. Oh boy, Brabham locked everything up.
Well, I think he might have a few problems later on with flat spotting those tyres. We'll have to wait a couple of laps and see what happens.
Oh, that was an enormous cloud of smoke came out from under the front of that car. Murphy saw that happen. That'll be like giving a cattle log a bone. He'll just sniff away from here.
Well, these carbon fibre brakes on these cars make it very difficult to feel when the tyres are locking up.
Another puff of smoke, so the BMWs are trying extremely hard. If anything, the Audi looks like a better balanced car.
Well, certainly, here he goes, under brakes. Very good under brakes, the Audi.
Bradley Jones, one of the best young drivers in Australia. Of course, he's had success in many areas of motorsport, and a full works drive this time round. Whoa, some bad luck.
That's Paul Pickett. He's just got his car in from the British Touring Car Championship. Looks like the end of his day.
Well, here we are back on the start finish straight. Have a look at Morris right up behind Brabham, slipstreaming as he comes down past the pit area. Look at this shot as they go, almost dropping into the ocean. Look at Murphy there. You can see him with a windscreen wiper on, so some little buttons playing up for him there. No need to have the washer on, unless he was clearing the screen. Now it's Brabham, now it's Morris. How tight and tough is this? Morris has a look up the inside. No love lost here between the two BMW drivers. They're racing, and Jones is starting to catch him up. The BMW's out in front, the Audi's on the charge. What a ripper race, don't leave us. Welcome back to Phillip Island. Well, have a look at this. The two BMWs under a lot of pressure now. Bradley Jones is really closed up behind the Kiwi Murphy. That's looking back from Morris's car, and the Audi seem to be getting stronger as this race continues. And look at up the inside. Oh, they'll try anything, and gets it too.
Well, I think the BMs are starting to have a few problems with their tyres. The Audis with their four-wheel drive maybe are preserving their tyres a little bit better.
Well, see some terrific driving from the Audi boys. Murphy and Jones, boy oh boy, they're not intimidated by the fact that the BMWs are the champions here, let me tell you. They're having a big go. Here's Jones. He's had to come from a long way back, but he's closing in. Murphy in second place. Morris is back in a third. Brabham's out in front. But look at the horsepower. There's plenty of Mondeo as they come down there. He's not giving anything away in the Audi.
Well, Morris around the outside, that's dodgy, but he's got the inside for turn two. He doesn't. He pulls it off, and Murphy back to third.
Can't get any closer than this. Jones with a superb drive. Murphy's done the hard stuff. He's really hassled the BMW drivers. He's made them go in hard on their brakes. He's made them lock up his brakes. Now they're starting to get the benefit of that.
Now this is where the Audis were always good. Under brakes, down to second gear. A lock up from Brabham again. You can see the smoke.
That's only helping the Audis, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The Audis are looking after their tyres. They're good under brakes, and they're just applying the pressure.
Brad Jones looking back from Paul Morris's car. Look at the attitude of the Audi. Now the BMW gets the power back, and you see the Audi starts to drop back. But under brakes, and I tell you what, if he gets the right run out of the corner, he loses nothing. Have a look at Brabham. How twitchy's that thing getting?
Well, Brabham's trying to do everything he can to hold back the other guys. I think the Dunlops on their Quattros may be a little bit harder. Jones over the ripple strip around Lukey Heights. Now hard under brakes. The Audis close up again.
What about Jones? The aggression from Jones. Did you see that line over the top of the hill? Oh boy. So it's still Murphy though. Murphy's in front of him, the Kiwi. Teammates there. These two teammates as well. Jeffrey Brabham, he's led from the word go. Morris has hounded him, but I would think Morris's tyres are in better shape.
Absolutely. The rear-wheel drive BMW is chewing up the Yokohamas a little bit more, and Murphy waving Jones through to say, you have a go at the BMWs.
He's tried everything, Murphy, the Kiwi. Now he gets Jones through. He waves him through, just backs off a fraction and lets Jones go through. Now, can Jones catch him? He's made up a lot of ground so far in this race. Look at him working from the inside of the cockpit here of the Audi. He's a lovely driver, this bloke, really well balanced. And there's Morris now. As we seek, you saw Morris, and he's got past Brabham.
Well, certainly all the locking up of tyres from Brabham wouldn't have helped that, and Morris with good sets of tyres. Now Ellery leading the Volvo of Tony Scott.
Tony Scott and Ellery. Ellery, you saw involved with an incident early in the race with the big Merc, but have a look at these Audis. They're huffing and puffing and muscling their way round, and now they go through. Brabham's gone from 1 back to 2, 3 and 4.
Yes, I think that's not a good omen for Brabham.
He may have a problem because truly he was looking so strong. Morris has got past him with a great bit of driving, but all of a sudden the two Audis have slingshot their way round too. So Brabham dropping back. We think a problem, maybe the tyre problem we talked about.
This is a part of the circuit where the Audis really have to work hard to try and get on the back of the BMW. Because once the BM gets onto the straight, they get away.
They look great going up the top of the hill. They just get a nice little bit of drift going from the rear end of the car. They look terrific around there. All of a sudden now Morris starts to open up a gap, as Warwick has just suggested. But the two Audis are doing the job. Jones, Murphy pushing as hard as they can.
Very fast corner here, 5th gear leading onto the straight. You've got to get it just right for the run down this long chute at Phillip Island.
Now let's have a look at the power as we go now, because Jones is doing the chasing, Morris is doing the leading, and there's nothing in it. Back shortly. What a cute race. The action pretty hot here at Phillip Island, no doubt about it. I don't think I've ever seen a bad race at Phillip Island, be it on 2 wheels or 4 wheels. It certainly is a place that drivers and riders love to race.
Well, certainly the Audi have spiced things up. I can tell you, Darrell, that Brad Jones has broken the old lap record. He's got around in a 1 minute 41.8, so the pace is hotting up.
No doubt about that. He's a very underestimated driver. You notice now that Brabham has gone. He's dived into the pits. We feel it's a tyre problem. He did drop back from 1st to 4th in the pits at the moment.
Well, you certainly can't keep locking up the tyres like Jeff did and get away with it at this pace.
Morris, great talent here in Australia, really has done a terrific job today. Backed up his teammate. When he thought it was time to go, he hit the go pedal and went round him. Jones has really extended this car because he came from a long way back to get into 2nd place. Murphy had tried everything to get round the BMW, couldn't do it, and he waved Jones through.
Now over the top of Lukey Heights, Jones very good in the Audi, closes under brakes, a slight little lock up. Morris working very hard there to try and keep the BMW right on the limit.
Trying hard, all drivers here at the moment. You can see keeping that delicate balance. And the BMW didn't look as good in the early part of the race, and the Audi looked a little bit more stable to me, but now I think those roles are being reversed.
Leading onto the main straight in 5th gear, Morris winding the BMW up to 6th gear, up to around 255 kilometres an hour. He'll go down 1 gear for the right-hander at the end of the straight, where Jones will leave it in 6th gear with the 4-wheel drive Quattro.
Now look at that. The Audi has lost nothing really in a straight line down that long straight, has he?
Well, he hasn't really lost it once he's got going, but certainly out of the slower corners, the Quattro doesn't get around as quickly. But here's the 850 Volvo.
Tony Scott, I mean, it's a brave move to bring this car out. Certainly captured world headlines when Tom Walkinshaw developed the car. Very clever marketing all around the world. But there really wasn't that much difference between the estate that you're looking at now and the sedan when they first tested them.
Well, the engineering in this car is just absolutely superb. A lot of better time Formula One technology in it. They've got the engine right back against the firewall, down very low, and the seating position and the whole electronics and engineering is just superb.
This car will get better. Tony Scott, he is a very reliable driver. You can see there the concentration in the face, just working the gearbox. There's no dramatic moves on the steering wheel.
Well, you can see too when he changes gears how little he has to move the gear shift with the sequential gearbox.
Morris out front doing it nicely now. Got a little bit of breathing space, but that was Brabham. Actually, here comes Morris now. So Brabham's just come out of the pits. He's got new rubber on. He's ahead of Morris, but of course he's a lap down.
Now Bradley Jones will be really trying to apply pressure to Morris. There's not many laps to go now. Morris's tyres, you can see him oversteering coming out of that corner. The rear tyres will be getting a little bit tired, where I think the Dunlops on the Quattro will be hanging in there a bit more because of the 4-wheel drive.
Two of the great new talents in Australian racing here. You've got Paul Morris, Bradley Jones, Murphy the Kiwi. He's very fast and spectacular. He's off the money a bit now. He's dropped back and let Jones take the battle up to Morris, but Morris is doing a fabulous job at the moment.
With 1 lap to go, Jones closing in on Morris's BMW. Down 3 gears for this corner, down to 3rd. Morris locks up a wheel. This is exactly what Jones wants. He'll be applying pressure coming onto this fast sweeper.
And closes up now. Bradley Jones comes right up to the bumper bar, mercy of Paul Morris and the BMW. This has been a great drive from both of these youngsters. And I tell you what, Jones is not done with yet. Jones gets it down now and have a look at this. He comes round a long way. Can he get there? Morris can't believe it. He's led all the way. Oh, bang, bang, take him out. A bit of touch and go there. And there's bits of bodywork and rubber going everywhere. Morris still got the lead, but Jones is showing plenty of aggression.
Well, the trouble for Morris is now he's got a real problem with the tyre rubbing on the bodywork, and the question is, can those tyres hold out?
Both cars have got trouble. See it for yourself. Tyres are just smoking against the bodywork from the bingle. Now they haven't backed off. Wow, this is really tight stuff. Look at the smoke there over the top of the hill.
And I tell you, he's going to be loving this. This is Greg Murphy sitting back there in third. Oh, Jones gets launched on two wheels by Morris's BMW.
No beg your pardons on this last lap. I tell you what, Murphy's saying, let me through. I've got good rubber, no problem. Smoke pouring off Morris's car at the moment. That's coming from the tyre. And look at Bradley Jones. He can't get round now. He comes up right behind him. They're on the straight. Now he slingshots there side by side now. Morris, I think Morris is going to get it from Jones. Oh, how do you pick that? How do you pick that? There was a hair in that. But the results come up. Bradley Jones gets second place behind Morris. There was just 100th of a second between them. Murphy gets third place. Tony Scott, great in the Volvo. He got a fourth. We'll be back, of course, following each of the Grand Prix right throughout the season. Oh, don't miss these, Australia. They're great.